for joining me today. About a week ago, we did a Q&A session over on Ch'kara Silverwolf's blog, and now we're here to answer those questions and also provide a couple updates at the end. Okay, the first few questions came from Michelle. The first of them is, how many books do you think will be in the Censor series? Actually, 2 more for a total of 6. After that, the series, as far as with Melina being the main character, ends. She also asked, are you planning on doing any spin-offs after this series? And yes, I am. I'm planning on doing at least 2 spin-offs that'll be paranormal romances using side characters and giving them their story. Those will come after the main series is complete. I'm also looking at doing a separate series for Emily if I think that there's enough demand for it, and that would come after the 2 paranormal romances. Emily will have a totally different setting. She's going to be off in college by the time that I would start her series. But we'll see if there's enough demand for it. For Michelle's third question, she asked, when will the next book be out? That'd be book 5 of the Censor series, which is tentatively, I've chosen the title to be Darkness Shatters. And that should be out early 2015. I'm hoping for January, but I want to wait and see how the rough draft looks before I commit to anything. So just stay tuned on my social media. I'll update you all on my blog and Facebook pages, and I'll provide links to those at the end of this in case you don't have them. And the next question comes from Lalo. She asked, did the entire story come to you at once, or does it come in pieces? It's actually a mixture of both. For instance, I knew from the beginning of writing Darkness Haunts that Melina would eventually end up with Lucas. I knew as far as how things would end with Darkness Haunts and how they would tie into Taunts. From there, I put in a lot of potential story threads and left them open for me to use later in the series, like Jocelyn's appearance. I knew Lucas would end up in Purgatory. It wasn't until I was writing Darkness Taunts that Kerbasi's character came to me, and it just fleshed out. So as soon as I started writing Chained by Darkness, I already knew everything I was going to do with Kerbasi, all the way up until what you're seeing with him now. I knew he'd get tied to Melina, and that it would be there would be quite a lot of contention between her and Lucas and Kerbasi together. But I have a lot of fun writing his character, which is sort of scary. But I've had a lot of fans tell me they think it actually does add humor. As far as the upcoming events, I had been sort of waffling between that in the early part of the series, whether or not I was going to have the Supernaturals come out or not. It'd always been a potential way for the series to go. And so I just finally decided by the end of the second book that I did definitely want to go that route. But I like to leave my options open, so I set up things, and then if I can make them work, then I make them work. But, you know, some new things come up too. For instance, like Corey's character. I didn't plan her at all, and she was meant to only just be someone that did the tattoo for Melina, and then you would never see her again, but somehow she just came to life on the pages, and so I've actually really enjoyed writing her and including her now more, you know, in small doses here and there when I can. So sometimes new characters and new plot threads show up that I didn't plan for, and I just roll with that when it happens. I'm not real rigid on my plot lines, but yes, there are a lot of things that are planned and have been planned since book 1. Hope that answers your question. Shay asks, were there any books or authors who influenced you in your choice of a main character? The main character, not really. She came to me mostly because of a desire for a character I hadn't been able to find in any other book. I wanted one with a military background that would make sense for her to be able to, you know, have some kind of abilities, natural abilities, as a mortal to fight supernaturals. And so I wanted her to still have a little bit of a supernatural element to her. So that's why her character is mostly weak in a lot of ways, and most of her abilities are actually more defensive than offensive. Um, but it was actually derived from there just wasn't anything like it. The other problem is a lot of times when military character or females get written into stories, whether it be movies, books, or TV shows, there's a stereotype that really drives me crazy as a female veteran, that they assume we have no personality, we don't fall in love, we don't laugh, we don't joke. They're just always very serious, and that's not the reality. Anyone who has any woman who served in the military, or if you have family or friends of females who have served in the military, then you should know we're just as different as women in the civilian world. The military does not deplete our personalities. We can have fun, we can fall in love, we can have our hearts broken, we can make mistakes, we can do good things, we can do bad things. There's this idea that we're these rigid people that are just very, very serious just drives me crazy. And I know that some readers come into the series expecting that, and that's what they want. And obviously that's not what I'm going to be able to give them in this series, because I want a real character with emotions and somebody who makes mistakes and has to learn from those mistakes, as opposed to some perfect person that always does everything right. I've had people say that they like that about Melina, that it makes her more relatable. So I hope that those of you watching this are also finding the same thing. But just keep in mind, just because the movies portray military veterans a certain way doesn't mean that's how we really are. Believe me, one of the biggest things when I was serving in Iraq was we used to play practical jokes on each other and do all sorts of crazy things during our downtime in order to lighten the mood, because when you're surrounded by death and danger all the time, the only way you're going to get through it is to have that humor here and there. And oftentimes it's a bit twisted humor, I'm not going to lie, because you're in a war zone, so the things that come out would be odd to the average person seeing it from the outside. But it helps. You have to have something to lighten the mood and make things easier. So I try to give Melina some of that dry sense of humor that comes out when I was serving, some of the things that we did. Yeah, she was never a copycat of any other character that I ever read. But I read a lot of urban fantasies, so it's not to say that I didn't try to keep to the same lines as far as the basic what you expect in a world building with urban fantasy, but adding my own twist. I hope that answers the question. The last question from fans is from Steven. He asks, is Emily going to have a more prominent role in regards to her censor abilities in future books? Probably not a lot more than what you've already seen. Sometimes things come up that I don't even see until I have whole new scenes that pop up even after the rough drafts are done. So it's not to say it wouldn't happen, but for the most part, the level that you've seen in this series so far, she's probably not going to do much more than she already has, but that she also has her own whole potential series where a lot more would come out if I do go ahead and write that. And then you get to see her right up front. So that's the best I can tell you for now, is the amount that you've seen her in the book so far is probably the level that you're going to see her in the next 2 books. Okay, now I'm going to do a few updates for you all since I already have your attention. One is, I know some people email me and ask about when the paperbacks for Darkness Divides and Darkness Clashes are going to be out. I'm formatting those now, so fingers crossed maybe by the end of October we'll have them ready to go and we'll send them out, and I'll add links to my website so that you can be able to find them easily. Another thing is, and I've had this question asked before, is about audiobooks. I actually just a little over a week ago signed the rights to the first 4 books plus Chained by Darkness and Playing with Darkness to have those put into audiobook versions with Tantor Media. You'd recognize they've done a lot of other big name urban fantasy authors like Illene Andrews. First 5 Kate Daniels books were done by Tantor. I just selected my narrator this past week, and she's actually done some of Jennifer Ashley's books. So I really, really liked her, and I'm glad that Tantor Media was able to provide me a good narrator to use. So the first book, Darkness Haunts, an audio version, it looks like it's coming out November 25th of this year, and then Darkness Taunts will be out December 16th. The next would be Chained by Darkness. I don't have a date on it yet. I'm guessing January. They said they'd be about a month apart for each book as they release. So expect that I'll do another announcement on my website and on Facebook about that, and I'll provide links as they become available to me. But at this time, you can go ahead and pre-order the CD format of Haunts and Taunts on Tantor Media's website. But if you want to hold out for Amazon or for the digital versions, then just wait until I can announce it, and I'll give you the links for that. Another thing, we're just a week away from the photo shoot for the final 2 book covers, so I'm actually going to head out and be there for the photo shoot this time, and I'll get some pics with the models. And for those that ask me questions, I'm going to see if I can't get some of the paperbacks signed by the models while I'm there. So obviously I can only get the ones that are already in paperback, like Darkness Haunts, and Chained by Darkness. So if those who participated in the question and answer, if you want to get them where they're signed by me and the models, just let me know. I'll be contacting you shortly to get with you about what paperback you want. And so if you're willing to wait, I'll take them with me when I go to the photo shoot. It's up in the New England state, so I've got about a 2-day drive to get there, but I'm bringing all the wardrobes and the props that we'll need for this photo shoot. And we'll be taking shots for the next book trailer as well. I'm going to do a book trailer on Darkness Shatters. And so you guys can expect that to show up probably somewhere within a few weeks before I release the actual book. I think that's about it. So I'll go ahead and, in case you don't know them, I'll go ahead and put links at the end for Ch'kara Silverwolf's blog, that she was the one who hosted me for this question and answer. And I'll also provide links to my website, Facebook, and Twitter in case you want those as well. If you enjoyed this Q&A and you'd like to see more of them, please leave a comment, and maybe I'll start doing them more regularly. And I'll just take questions from emails or on my website. People leave comments on almost every page of my website and oftentimes ask questions. So if I start seeing these questions coming in, I may go ahead and just do a video every so often and do a giveaway along with it. So just let me know if that's something you all would be interested in. Alright, thanks for watching.